Special police investigation launched into the incident where a university student was severely injured. 7 suspects who attacked the owner and the staff of a restaurant arrested. 181 people who arrived from South Korea and Italy quarantined. Ravi Karunanayaka requests Court of Appeal to suspend arrest warrant. Court reissues warrant for the arrest of Secretary to the Presidential Commission of Inquiry into Political Victimization. Police strictly warned.
Hello there and welcome to tonight's edition of Primetime News here on TV1. You're joining me, Devi Paldano. Now taking a look at some headline-making local stories. A university student who was injured at the Sri Jayawardhanapura University is still admitted in hospital and is receiving treatment. Now for more details on this, we are joined by Charlene Benedict in our own newsroom. Charlene, what do you have for us?
A very good evening and welcome to Primetime News. Of course, tonight we begin Primetime News on a somber note with a tragic story at the very beginning of our news bulletin. Now, as you all know, a student of the Sri Jayawardhana University attached to the management faculty of the university has been severely injured due to an incident that happened within the university premises. And of course, he's currently receiving treatment at the National Hospital. Now, the police at the Sri Jayawardhana University administration have launched two separate investigations into this incident. One is launched by the police, the Mirihana police, pursuant to a complaint lodged by the parents of the student, and the other investigation is being conducted under the supervision of the Vice Chancellor of the university. Here are the details of that story.
An event was organized by the students of the management faculty on the 5th of this month. Although the event ended at 8:30 that night, a group of students, including Pasindu Hiroshan, stayed back at the university premises past 12 midnight. According to a friend of Pasindu Hiroshan, a tire rolled down from a height and hit Pasindu when he was going towards a tap to drink some water. Although his friend spoke about the incident, he did not agree to disclose his identity. When I called Hiroshan at about 1:20, he said that he wanted to go to the boarding house. Then he said that he is going to the pavilion to drink some water. I started to walk towards the pavilion as well. He had walked down from the area where he drank water at the pavilion. Then I saw a child fall on the ground after he was hit by a wheel. He then rolled down the stairs. There is a story where the seniors had asked for some water. When my brother had given them the water and walked down the stairs, it was then that they had sent the big tire rolling towards him. The way I see it, this is not a tire that could have been handled by one person. It would have taken about 2 or 3 people to roll this down. I believe that this was intentionally done as it was sent down the pavilion that is about 25 feet long. Pasindu Hiroshan, who studied at the Udugampola St. Peter's College, obtained 3 A passes at the advanced level examination. He entered the management faculty of the Sri Jayawardhanapura University in December 2019.
මෙවැනි ක්‍රියා තවදුරටත් අපේ රටේ විශ්වවිද්‍යාල තුල සිදු නොවෙන්නට මගේ මල්ලිලා වගේ අහිංසක ජීවිත රෝහල් වල දැඩි සත්කාර ඒකකවල ජීවිතයත් මරණයත් අතර සටන් කරන්නට අනාගතේ ඉඩ දෙන්නේ නැතුව ඒ ජීවිත ආරක්ෂා වෙන්න කටයුතු කරන්න.
The students' union said that this was not a result of ragging.
මේ සිද්ධිය බොහොම පැහැදිලිව
We would like to state that this is clearly not an incident of ragging. We have been able to remove this concept of ragging from the university system to a great extent. We are not saying that we have been able to stop it completely. Certain incidents of ragging are still reported even today.
වාර්තා වෙන්න පුළුවන්.
විශ්වවිද්‍යාලය තුල රෑ 1 2 වෙනකම් අවසර දීලා තියෙනවද බීමති සංගීතය සින්දු කියමින් ගෝසා කරමින් ඔය විශ්වවිද්‍යාලෙන් අවසර දීලා තියෙනවද ඔබතුමන්ලට එහෙම රැඳීගෙන ඉඳගෙන වැඩ කරන්න අවසර දීලා තියෙනවා.
ඒ කියන්නේ මෙහෙමයි. දැන් විශ්වවිද්‍යාල
The Vice Chancellor of the university is also a product of this free education system. They know the true value of free education. They are of the opinion that the students must be nurtured in such a free environment.
ඔවුන්ගේ අදහසක් තියෙනවා. ඒ නිසා
ඇත්තටම මොකද්ද උනේ? පාටියේදී මොකද්ද කරලා තියෙන්නේ කියලා
මම පැහැදිලිව කියනවා මෙන්න මේක.
වෙන කාරණා වලට යන්න එපා දේශපාලකයන් එක
අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම මේ කාරණාව පැහැදිලිව කියනවා. මේ සිද්ධිය අපිට කොහෙත්ම අනුමත කරන්න බැරි සිද්ධියක්.
සහෝදරවරු විශාල ප්‍රමාණයක් ඉඳලා තියෙනවා. ඒ සහෝදරයෙක්ගේ අතින් තමයි ඒ සිදුවීම වෙලා තියෙන්නේ.
A police investigation under the direct supervision of the senior DIG of the Western Province, Deshabandhu Tendakon, has been launched. The teams investigating the incident visited the university premises today.
මේ සිද්ධියට සම්බන්ධ
The students who were involved in this incident must be identified. I believe that there is enough evidence for this. We notified the IGP in writing to enforce the law against those connected.
රටේ නීතිය ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න
මේ පිළිබඳ පරීක්ෂණ
2 investigations have been launched into the incident. One is being conducted internally under the Vice Chancellor, and the other investigation has been launched pursuant to a complaint filed by the parents of the student at the Mirihana police station. If anyone is being ragged off physically and mentally abused, legal action will be filed against them.
අවශ්‍ය අධිකරණමය ක්‍රියාමාර්ග තුලින් දඩුවම් පමුණවන්න අපි ක්‍රියා කරනවා.
The Vice Chancellor of the Sri Jayawardhanapura University visited the National Hospital today to inquire into the well-being of Pasindu Hirushan. We decided to support this child in covering his medical expenses from the funds of the university. Also, we are working closely with the police, and we conducted a thorough investigation at the university premises along with the team headed by the senior DIG Deshabandhu. We inspected the location at which the student faced the incident. The police have launched an investigation into 2 of the students suspected to have been involved in this incident. If this was done intentionally, we hope that we will be able to identify the suspects soon, and the police will enforce the law against them.
Well, the police and the university staff are currently investigating this incident, and we hope and pray that the perpetrators of this incident will be brought to justice as soon as possible, that the law will be enforced against them, and that this will be an example for such regrettable incidents not to occur in the future again. Moving on from one tragic incident to yet another. A clash between 2 groups at a restaurant in Periyamulla Nigambo resulted in the death of 1 person. Now 3 people, including the owner of the restaurant, are currently receiving treatment in hospital. Now the footage that we are about to show you is extremely sensitive. Some of our viewers might find these images to be very disturbing, and therefore our viewers' discretion is advised before viewing the next report.
A group of 7 people had arrived at the restaurant in two vehicles at around 10:30 last night. The group had informed the owner of the restaurant that they wanted to consume alcohol at the restaurant. A tense situation arose after the owner of the restaurant refused their request. The owner of the restaurant and employees at the restaurant were then attacked by the group. The manner in which the staff at the restaurant responded was also captured on CCTV. An employee at the restaurant who suffered severe injuries passed away after being admitted to the Nigambo District Hospital. The deceased was a 36-year-old father of 2. He went to work at the shop as he was poor. He is a good person. He does not indulge in fights. We do not know who did this. Punishments must be meted out irrespective of who is involved.
He has 3 children. He worked at the hotel to make ends meet for these children. Look at his house. He went to work with the intention of building it. We cannot live like this if incidents of this nature take place. The police and the government must take the necessary steps regarding this incident.
The 38-year-old owner of the restaurant and his 39-year-old brother, who was also injured, are currently receiving treatment at the Negombo District Hospital. According to police, 7 suspects have been arrested in connection to the incident. According to the police, 6 suspects were arrested this afternoon after they surrendered to the police through an attorney. Another suspect wanted in connection to the incident was arrested in Periyamulla this morning. He is due to be produced before the Negombo Magistrates Court tomorrow. The police special task force has been deployed to the area to keep peace.
Bringing you some news from the coronavirus epidemic. The COVID-19 virus, of course, has spread across the world in many countries, and the number of affected cases and the number of deaths reported in the world continue to rise on a daily basis. Now, meanwhile, foreign media reported that 15 new cases of coronavirus have been identified in Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates, now out of which 2 of those infected patients have been identified as Sri Lankan nationals. Of course, no further details are available regarding these 2 Sri Lankan nationals. All 15 patients have been quarantined. Now, while the coronavirus is spreading in the world, here in Sri Lanka, 2 centers have been set up to quarantine individuals who are arriving in the country for a period of 14 days. Now, 181 people who arrived in the island from South Korea and Italy have been quarantined in these 2 centers.
A flight carrying 166 passengers on board from South Korea touched down in Sri Lanka at around 3:33 a.m. 164 of them are Sri Lankans, while 2 were of South Korean origin. 13 individuals arrived from Italy via Oman this morning, while 2 others arrived via Qatar. These passengers were transported to the quarantine centers in Batiklo and Kandakadu in buses following a quarantining procedure at the Bandara International Airport. Claims of delays in the quarantining process and levying charges for the procedure became a subject of discussion at the airport.
Passengers are reluctant to undergo the quarantine process in Batikalo. As a country, we are conducting this process. There could be certain shortcomings as this is a new thing. We cannot expect perfection while flying an airplane for the first time. In the future, we will be able to avoid these shortcomings.
The commander of the army highlighted that Sri Lankan citizens will not be charged fees to undergo the quarantining process.
This is not an attempt to inconvenience you. As Sri Lankans, you have the freedom to come here at any time you wish. This is being done to protect the people in this country as the virus was identified in the countries from which you arrived. We have made all the arrangements to provide the necessary facilities. At the same time, charges will not be levied for this.
Meanwhile, a group of foreigners who arrived on flight MI-17 were taken to the quarantine facility in Kandakadu today. A bus carrying Sri Lankan passengers neared Kandakadu this afternoon. The benchmark all-share index plunged 4.14% or 221.24 points to close at 5,121.9, its lowest since August 29, 2012. The trading of the Colombo Stock Exchange was halted for 30 minutes in early trade after the S&P 20 index of liquid shares fell 5% soon after opening. The S&P SL20 index of most liquid stocks closed 4.75% or 117.86 points down at 2,361.75. The Colombo stock market fell 16% so far this year and 8.4% from February. Market turnover was 1.34 billion rupees.
Let's now take a look at how the coronavirus has affected other countries across the world.
The Ministry of Health of Abu Dhabi announced 5 new COVID-19 recoveries and 15 new cases of coronavirus. The 2 new cases include 2 Sri Lankans. Chinese President Xi Jinping toured the Chinese city of Wuhan today for the first time since the coronavirus outbreak began. Wuhan is currently under lockdown and the number of fresh corona cases have declined. Meanwhile, Italy has extended its emergency coronavirus measures, which include travel restrictions and a ban on public gatherings, to the entire country. Italy reported 97 deaths due to corona yesterday, bringing the total death count to 97. The total coronavirus cases in the country reached 9,172, while cases were reported in all 20 provinces.
The Italian government has instructed all citizens to refrain from attending public gatherings and to stay at home as much as possible. As you can see, only one customer at a time is allowed to enter the supermarket. Everything else is normal. All schools have been closed till the 3rd of April. You must obtain permission to visit another city.
All sorts of recreational, cultural, religious activities have been completely suspended till the 3rd of April. Schools and universities all over the country have been shut down till the 3rd of April as well. Bars, pubs, restaurants are only allowed to be open from 6 a.m. till 6 p.m. Despite the lockdown, food supplies and basic needs are allowed to move in and out of cities in order to ensure that supermarkets do not run out of stock.
As of yesterday, South Korea reported 7,513 cases and 54 deaths. As of today, 18 coronavirus cases were reported in Oman, 20 from Saudi Arabia and another 18 from Qatar. The Iraqi government has requested all citizens to refrain from visiting religious sites. The number of cases in New York has increased to 142. Iran reports 54 deaths, its highest figure yet, over a 24-hour period. The number of deaths worldwide has now exceeded 4,000.
Now, the coronavirus has affected more than just general public's health. It has affected many industries, many economies, many stock markets, both here at home and abroad.
The coronavirus impact on global financial market conditions have also affected Sri Lanka's foreign investments. The outstanding stock of treasury bills and treasury bonds held by foreigners have decreased by 9.03% or 8.236 billion rupees, bringing the total to 19.6 billion rupees in foreign outflows during the past 2 weeks. Economists claim foreign investors have withdrawn from Sri Lanka due to the increased volatility in the global investment climate due to the spread of the coronavirus, in addition to the already ailing local economy. Many sectors in Sri Lanka are currently experiencing difficulties due to disruptions in global trade and tourism. Tourist arrivals to Sri Lanka in February declined by 17.7% in comparison to February last year, mainly due to the outbreak of COVID-19. Sri Lanka's tea sector has also been adversely affected due to the global impact of the coronavirus. Speaking to Newsfirst, Chairman of the Colombo Tea Traders Association, Jayantha Karnaratne, said the reduction of oil prices in the global market will have a negative impact on trade with several leading foreign tea markets.
Major tea consuming countries are affected. Certain shipments which are going via Bandara port and also Mersin port are not moving further to neighboring countries. So the borders between Iran and neighboring countries are closed. So our shipments are held up in Iran. And also the border between Turkey and Iraq are closed. So there are problems with regard to payments, delays, and holding stocks here. So various issues. So this has created the problem for us, especially on our cash flows and collection of money for shipments. The recent drop in oil prices has created another problem. Russian rubles have devalued more than 20% during the last 2 days. So their buying power also will come down, and there have been a lot of payment issues from Russia because of the sharp drop in oil prices.
Experts have also raised concerns over the travel bans that have been imposed by Middle Eastern countries.
Qatar has imposed a temporary travel ban, so that will severely affect labour migration from Sri Lanka, because during the last couple of years, Qatar was the #1 destination for migrant workers from Sri Lanka. 2019, there were over 50,000 Sri Lankans heading to Qatar for migrant work, or it's about 25% of the total migrant population leaving Sri Lanka. In addition to that, inability to go to Qatar will also impact our remittances. That will dip the already declining remittances to Sri Lanka, drop in the price of crude oil. Like yesterday there was a 25% drop in crude oil, so we might think that it's good for our import bill, but then on the larger scale that means economic activity in other countries will go down, and that will have an impact on workers, their earnings, and then this effect will go on for a couple of months, and I have concerns, and I doubt it whether this might be set off or balanced out through the year and in terms of annual remittances to Sri Lanka.
Political parties in crisis.
Now, of course, with the general election of the year 2020 nearing, the political arena here in Sri Lanka is as heated as it can get. Of course, this effect is compounded with the fact that the amount of crisis within the major political parties here in Sri Lanka has reached a breaking point. Of course, the main parties, including the United National Party and the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party and the Samagi Jana Balawegaya, are at odds with each other. Of course, amidst all of this party crisis, leader of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya, Sajith Premadasa, today speaking at a press briefing, said that he is willing to take to the streets if the government does not pass on to the general public of Sri Lanka the advantage of the reduction in fuel prices in global markets.
The price of a barrel of crude oil, which was $62.65 last year, has reduced by 41% to $36.89. The price of gas is reduced by 30% in the global market. Why is this government failing to pass on these benefits to the people? The government has been unable to manage the economy. Prices of petrol should go down to 80 rupees from 139 rupees. Diesel should be reduced up to 61 rupees and 25 cents from 104 rupees. Kerosene should be reduced up to 40 rupees from 70 rupees. The price of a gas cylinder should be reduced to 1000 rupees from 1490 rupees. Sometimes they can ask me as to how I formulated these prices. The price of a barrel of crude oil has been reduced by 40%. I also wish to state that we will not violate the rules and regulations. We will take to the streets with the people in a democratic manner.
මේ අවස්ථාව තුළ දැන් ඉන්ධන මිල අඩු වුණොත් ඔබතුමාලාට අවාසියක් වෙනව නේද? එහෙම පහත් විදිහේ දේශපාලනයක් කරනවා.
If I was engaging in low-level politics, I would not convene a press conference and request to reduce fuel prices. There is no problem. We do not speak with the motive of obtaining votes. We are speaking based on clear data and statistics.
Now, while the crisis between the United National Party and the Samagi Jana Balawegaya is ongoing, the other side of this coin is also not going through the best of times. The Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, of course, have now formed an alliance with the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, and also included in this formula is the group from Vietmaga. Now, today there was an incident where a supporter of one of these sections were assaulted. Let's take a look at that report now.
A political supporter of Professor Charitha Herath, belonging to the Vietmaga movement, who was attacked this morning, has been admitted to the Kuliapitiya base hospital. The victim, who has been identified as Kasun Samira, stated that he had been attacked while leaving his house in a three-wheeler.
Samanpriya's brother attacked me. I worked for Samanpriya earlier. I was attacked as I work for Charitha Herath now.
Newsfirst inquired about this matter from the Sri Lanka Podujana Peremuna's Kuliapitiya electorate organizer Saman Priya Herath regarding this matter.
According to what I heard, this had taken place following an argument. There is no political affiliation to this. I am hoping to contest the general election. If they are trying to tarnish my image, I wish to state that such acts are disgusting.
Meanwhile, Dr. Charitha Herath visited his supporter at the Kuliapitiya hospital to inquire about his condition this afternoon.
This is a very unfortunate example. It is wrong if certain groups who belong to our political movement support these acts even to the slightest extent.
Frontline activists of the Vietmaga movement have begun a campaign to contest the upcoming general election with the SRPP. Dr. Charitha Herath, who is likely to contest from the Kurunegala district, attended a public gathering in Pannala yesterday, along with Dr. Nalaka Godaheva, who is tipped to contest from Gampaha.
Certain groups in the political sphere are attempting to divert our aim to defeat the UNP. While we point fingers, they keep silent. Therefore, we do not have to take a decision which can result in a political crisis. We do not have to create a political culture in Kurunegala in which individuals who pull back their factions instead of supporting them are being brought forward. There is a need to send leaders to Parliament who can intervene in matters with strength and intelligence. Nalaka and myself bore great responsibilities during the last election. The society is asking for a new political journey instead of an old one.
නමුත් මේ පරණ දේශපාලනය වෙනුවට අලුත් දේශපාලනයක් මුළු සමාජෙම ඉල්ලා ඉඳමින් ඉන්නවා. ආචාර්යවරේ.
He is a professor. He is expecting to be nominated in the Kurunegala district. We have high hopes on that. He is someone who can work for the country.
Meanwhile, former State Minister Arundhika Fernando commented on the future political career of President's Counsel Ali Sabri, who is a frontline activist of the Viatmaga movement.
I feel that Ali Sabri was a massive strength to our district during the presidential election. While including his name in the national list, I do not know whether he might be appointed as the minister in charge of justice under the next government.
එළවෙන පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ තුමා අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම දවන්ත ප්‍රබල අමාත්‍ය ධූරයක් අඩු ගන්න අධිකරණ ඇමති වේද කියලාවත් දන්නේ අමාත්‍ය ධූරයක් ලබනවා.
We have received reports that discussions are still ongoing within the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna. The discussions are chaired by Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, and the discussions are currently ongoing at Temple Trees. Now, when we contacted Vasudevan Naikara regarding the content of the discussion, he said that the discussions focused on the formation of the nomination lists for the general election. Of course, when it comes to the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna camp, who do they really want elected into Parliament? Who are really on their side? A group of SLPP members convened a media briefing today, and this is what they had to say regarding that.
A press conference was held at the SLPP headquarters in Colombo, was attended by a group which was involved in promoting the party at a grassroots level.
අතිගරු ජනාධිපතිතුමාට මේ කටයුත්ත කරගෙන යන්නට පුළුවන් වෙන්නා වූ කාර්ය කරන්නට පුළුවන් වෙන්නා වූ മന്ത്രിවරුන්ව පත් කළ ලබන.
මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ මැතිතුමා 8 වෙනිදා පෙරදිලා 9 වෙනිදාත් එක්ක එතුමාත් එක්ක හිටිය මාව පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ වුණාද වෙන කට්ටියක් පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ ඒ දිස්ත්‍රික්ක වල ජනතාව තීන්දුව කරා. මගේ මතය පැනගිය පුජ්‍යලයන්ට අතාර ගිය මිනිසුන්ට දෙන්න එපායි කියන තැන තමයි අපි ඉන්නේ.
ඔය ගැටුම තියාගෙන කොහොමද ඔබතුමාලා මේ මැතිවරණ ව්‍යාපාරය කරගෙන යන්නේ?
The people will vote. When we ask the people not to vote, they vote for them. They do the opposite when we ask them to vote. Therefore, let us contest the election. The people will vote the correct group into power. We sent 96 members whom we felt were in favor of Mahinda Rajapaksa to Parliament. However, 54 of them defected to the other side. We cannot face the brunt of this again. We have formed an alliance. Our target is to win 113 seats and form a two-third majority. We will engage in our election campaign based on that.
Now, it's a known fact that the Sri Lanka Freedom Party joined the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna and formed a common alliance. But are these two parties really on the same page in the run-up to the 2020 general election? Of course, Roshan Gunawardena speaking at a media briefing today. He is the SLFP organizer for the Norelia electorate. He said that the Sri Lanka Freedom Party should take a decision on how exactly they want to contest for the upcoming general election.
The statements made by Dayasiri Jayasekara in a way contributed to the creation of certain issues between the Sri Lanka Freedom Party and the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna. But we can give you an assurance that the group who received benefits from the bond scam will not be contesting the election under the SLPP ticket. What they should do is build faith towards them among the general public. We are not the ones who tarnish the people's faith. It is the duty of the people who tarnish the faith of the people to build it again.
Today,
certain MPs of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party are lost and they have nowhere to go. They are looking at trying to win this election by joining the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna. If the SLFP MPs attempt to attack the professionals who built the SLPP, they would have to end up on the bottom of the list. We have given them an opportunity to contest in our list as a means of showing gratitude. even amidst the massive outcry against it from among our supporters. We can see that they are at risk of losing their seats after trying to seek refuge in someone else's cage. We would like to ask them to hold their tongue, as that would be the wise thing to do. We are extremely frustrated about the way that we are being treated. We can't answer the questions raised by our party supporters in the village. We cannot remain silent now. What I can't understand is, while they are attacking the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, why aren't they talking about the United National Party? Do they have any secret there? Where is the 30% that we were promised? How are these candidates supposed to contest? What do we say when we go to the village? We need some intervention in this matter. Can we unite and move forward like this? Some of our own members only want to enter parliament. They have no intention of protecting the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. They only want to be a member of the 225 in parliament. I don't think that these people will be given this position by the general public after they had betrayed the party. I would like to make a request from the General Secretary and the Chairman of the party. Certain minor parties are asking us if we would want to contest with them. And if we do, the amount of candidates we can field would be multiplied tenfold. I don't like to name those parties now. But let's unite with these parties and move forward. Let's contest the election with them and show the country our power. While the crisis in the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna camp continues to aggravate, with the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna and the Sri Lanka Freedom Party standing at loggerheads against each other, getting back to the United National Party camp, of course, there are two questions when it comes to this matter. The first being, will the United National Party join the Samagi Jana Balavegiya and contest in a united alliance, just as the name suggests? The second question being, what is the symbol that will be used by the Samagi Jana Balavegiya to contest for the upcoming general election? Now, while there is no answer as of date to the first question, speaking at a media briefing today that was held at the Samagi Jana Balavegiya head office, former parliamentarian Sujiva Senasinghe has said that the alliance has come to a final conclusion on the symbol that they will use at the upcoming general election.
Several discussions were held yesterday at Karu Jayasuriya's residence. We all reached a final decision to contest under the symbol of the telephone. We will officially unveil our symbol to the public in the near future. There are a few members within our group who have been accused of wrongdoings, and several members alleged to have ties with the Rajapaksas. Roads are made, some make phone calls to members of the Rajapaksa family and tell them what's going on. If Akila Biraj Karyavasan plans to contest under the elephant, we wish him all the best, as this would be an opportunity for us to erase this black mark. There is no solution to this crisis. The discussion held at Karu Jayasuriya's residence is also futile. Last afternoon, my good friend Rajat Senaratna said that a decision was made to contest under the symbol of the swan. That is not the situation now. When 98% of the parliamentary group are with Sajith Premadasa, Ranil Wickremesinghe is holding talks with provincial level politicians who are up to no good. He is calling them to join his side by offering 5 million rupees and by promising to give nominations. He is a leader who has lost 26 elections and has been rejected by the UNP. The party supporters too do not like him. They tell the parliamentarians to come forward without Ranil. Members of the Samagi Jana Balavegiya have repeatedly emphasized that the alliance had been set up with the approval of the United National Party's working committee. This stance is reiterated during a media briefing at the UNP headquarters, Sirikota, today. We held the first working committee meeting on the 30th of January this year by targeting the general election. During this meeting, the party leader proposed that we should form a strong alliance. He stated that we should contest the election under this alliance. Our party leader then nominated Sajith Premadasa as the leader of this alliance. Accordingly, the working committee unanimously approved the name of Sajith Premadasa to lead the alliance. The working committee also decided to entrust Sajith Premadasa with the responsibility of heading the nomination board. On the 31st of January, the working committee also decided to hand over Sajith Premadasa the powers to convene a meeting with all groups and parties that would constitute the alliance. We were expected to meet on the 19th of February. It was on that day that Sajith Premadasa nominated Ranjit Madhum Bandara to the post of General Secretary of the Alliance. No one raised objections towards that. We seconded the name collectively.
දැන් මෙතන තියෙන්නේ පොඩි ප්‍රශ්නයක්.
There is a small problem here. That problem is with regard to the positions of two individuals. Some are aiming at receiving positions if certain people are appointed as leaders. There is no problem other than that. It is the media which has divided us. The media is trying to create a split between us. We are not ready to do that.
ඉතින් තමයි අපිව බෙදලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒක නිසා මේ මාධ්‍ය හදන්නේ කොහොම හරි අපිව දෙකට බෙදන්න. මේකට අපි ලෑස්ති වෙන්නේ නැහැ. සමහර මාධ්‍ය
There are some media institutions. I apologize for generalizing it. I do not wish to divulge the names. Some media outlets are attempting to create a split.
මාධ්‍ය හදන්නේ දෙකට බෙදන්න.
Let me ask you a small question. Now we can see that a president with executive powers and a prime minister who has parliamentary powers can be brothers. However, there are problems between these two positions. There's a tug of war here. Has at least one media institution spoken about this? You are trying to divide our party into two. The working committee has decided that the final symbol will be the elephant.
We worked with a lot of enthusiasm. For some reason, some of our party leaders got together and defeated us. This is the truth. No one can deny it. Before the postal votes were cast, Ranil Wickremesinghe came out and said that he is the Prime Minister. That is the point from which our defeat began. The people became fed up of us after that. The government servants decided on that day that they would not vote for us. Then we began our tug of war. I ask you not to vote for anyone who doesn't contest from the Samagi Jana Balawegaya. This is my only request. This district is divided into two now. If any of these former ministers and former deputy ministers don't support Sajid Premadasa, do not facilitate their political future. Giving them an opportunity is similar to mortgaging our future. We can solve this problem. 10 people are not there in the group of thieves. This is a contest between a group of thieves and a group of honest individuals. Understand this properly. The group of thieves must be sent home. That too is not sufficient. I feel that their properties must be sold at an auction and the money should go to the treasury.
And with that, you're up to date on the latest political unfoldings here in Sri Lanka. Of course, we here at News First will continue to pay close watch to the unfoldings within these parties and in the run-up to this very decisive general election on the 25th of April. And we will continue to keep you, our viewers out there, informed of the latest as and when it happens. Until then, it's back to the main studios with David Paldana. David?
Thank you, Shalan, for giving us the comprehensive report on the political situation in Sri Lanka. Now, taking a look at one of more headline-making stories, the Permanent High Court trial at Bar today reissued the warrant for the arrest of Pearl K. Veerasinghe, the Secretary of the Presidential Commission inquiring into political victimization. The court ordered the Acting Inspector General of Police to enforce the warrant on or before the 12th of this month. Court ordered, in the event of a failure to enforce the warrant, the acting IGP must personally appear at the Permanent High Court trial at Bar and provide reasons for failing to do so. The Permanent High Court trial at Bar issued a warrant for the arrest of Pearl K. Veerasinghe on the 6th of March for failing to appear in court despite being noticed and for failing to produce in court the necessary information books required to continue with a case. The Permanent High Court trial at Bar said it issued the order after deciding the Secretary of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry had acted in contempt by failing to appear in court without informing her inability to do so. The Presidential Commission of Inquiry, appointed to probe incidences of political victimization and or persecution, launched a separate investigation in a case filed against 8 defendants, including Niraj Roshan, alias Ali Roshan. The Secretary of the Presidential Commission was noticed to appear in court to provide reasons with regard to the information books. A warrant was issued for the arrest of Pearl K. Veerasinghe for the first time on the 6th of March, and she was barred from travelling overseas. And with that, we wrap up primetime news here on TV1. Now, we leave you tonight with what K.C. Wignaraja had to say when questioned by Farah Shagutali on the upcoming general election. That's all we have for you for today. Good night and take care.
But what is very important is that they should be stripped of all the ill-gotten gains, assets that were acquired that way. From Malaysia to Pakistan to Korea, we have had prime ministers and presidents put into jail for unjust enrichment. There is a simple law. Acquire wealth, they rob the people, and that is the easiest way to catch them, provided the authorities and the law enforcement people are at it. They do their job. Our governments have not addressed this, but it's the time, and now it's election time. We should ensure that the candidates and the election commissioner should ensure that the candidates prove themselves not to have any violations of the law or even serious allegations. Then it's up to the candidate to clear himself. We can't go through the process of law and prove it. That will never happen.